Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Riverfront Red Show, a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. We are a weekly conversation show about what some are saying, Tim, is the greatest professional franchise in modern sports history, the Cincinnati Reds. Now, this
Some are
week,
saying that, huh?
so I don't know who, I've never actually met them, but with the multiverse timeline, it's possible that somebody out there may have said that once or twice. This week, now that the team has been officially eliminated from playoff contention, we're going to get a little help from our friends, Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn, as we recap the 2024 season using quotes from one of the greatest comedies of all time, Dumb and Dumber. My guy, host of Late Night Reds and about a dozen other podcasts, here to help me do that, Tim Daniel. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Nate. I'm good. I just stopped and did a Red Brick review, our Miami, Ohio podcast, previewing the Notre Dame Miami game on Saturday. And now I'm hanging out with you. So I guess I'm just making my rounds around the company. So
Gosh, I can't imagine a better day talking about Miami of Ohio sports, hanging out with me. Oh, man, what a life you live. I'm
what a
sorry,
life I
buddy.
live.
I'm sorry that you have to do those things.
There's a Jack and Ted had a great first episode. We had a great response to it. So I'm excited to see how episode 2 does. Obviously, would have liked to have seen them got the win on Saturday, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to win this Saturday, but they can win from here on out after that, though.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. And I loved what they did on that first episode, too. It was doing some serious work. It's just fun. Anytime people are enthusiastic and energetic about what they're talking about, it's contagious. I like it. It's hard to be enthusiastic about these stinking Reds, so I'm glad somebody gets to do it.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, before we get into the meat of the episode, some housekeeping real quick. Anybody listening to this, if you don't mind, please go give us all those likes and subscribes wherever you can. We are on all the podcast apps and on YouTube. That's what helps us grow. And believe it or not, with this shoddy content that we put out every week, we would like to grow. Just kidding. Late Night Reds is awesome. Everything Tim does is great. Everything I do,
Mm.
Also, shout out to a new quote unquote sponsor. He's not paying us for this, so they say no free ads. We get one free ad. Um, People know me. They know my brother Chad, the founder of this feast. They don't know one of our other brothers, Jordan, who is a recently published author for the first time, and his debut novel is out, and it's a story about, I don't know, some themes and people that will sound familiar to a lot of our audience, set in the Appalachians. Here's a little blurb. This is the story of Solomon Crabtree, a legendary radio singer and preacher's son from rural Virginia. When Solomon disappears at the height of his musical fame, he curses 3 generations of the Crabtree family with a mysterious legacy. His final song, one so sad that everyone who hears it dies of a broken heart. To solve the mystery of Saul's disappearance, the Crabtrees must navigate churches, sanatoriums, haunted high school football stadiums, and even the clues hidden in a particular Cincinnati Reds broadcast on WKRC. In the end, however, it's Saul's precocious grandson, Eli, who must find answers to these heartbreaking questions, who must enter this world rich in music and voices, where people die to hear the unspoken, and salvation is only found in the not yet sung. The Ballad of Falling Rock is the name of the book, and it is available online anywhere and everywhere books are sold. So get out there, Riverfront family. I'll put the link in the show notes. Go help the brother out. I have read some earlier drafts of this book and was blown away. Not just saying that because he's my brother. If anything, I would talk crap about him. I relished the opportunity to do so. But turns out he's a good writer. So show him some love. All right. Enough of that nonsense, Tim. The Reds still stink.
True story. True story.
A quick look at the standings. We were recording this after they got thrashed by the Braves today. They are 74-80, 15 games back of the Milwaukee Brewers, who have clinched first place in the NL Central. Next to last to the Pirates. So at least the Pirates are worse than the Reds. So we've got that going for us.
That's a mini win for me. I mean, that's
Nobody's happier about that than you.
what a thing to celebrate.
It came up a lot over the last week or so, I guess, due to some Nick Kroll comments David Bell, is his seat not quite as cool as we all believed, or do you think it might be getting a little toasty down there?
I think it might be getting a little toasty, man. I just had this conversation actually on Tuesday night, before I went to the game. Stopped by old pal Strawberry Ice's show, Mr.
Whoo,
Jeff Trenapool, down there at the Mortaline Lager
ice.
House, and we talked about the same thing. I think that we're at that point now where, um, I don't know if he's fully the problem. I just don't think he's doing anything to solve the problem. And all the press conferences this year were miserable, and the season was miserable, and a lot of his decision making was really head scratching. Granted, he's not given the 1996 New York Yankees by any means, but still kind of pretty difficult to kind of deal with it all. So, yeah, I think that this is probably, I wouldn't bet on it, but I'm at the point where I'm getting a little confident that we might not see him in the dugout next year.
Yeah, a couple things. One, you said the key part. We might not see him in the dugout because I think we both believe that any sort of any situation where the Reds have a new manager next season probably means a promotion of sorts for David Bell, where he stays in the organization in a different capacity. That way, they don't just eat the money that they have promised to him; they just reallocate it. The other thing you said is he's not the solution. Sure, he's not the biggest problem, but if we got tired of the lack of progress that we saw from Dusty Baker led teams, what can we say about David Bell right now?
Right.
We got tired of making the playoffs.
We got tired of winning 90 games.
Yeah, gross. So we'll see. But Nick Krall, he said we're going to reevaluate everything in the offseason. It was just a stark contrast from him saying David Bell's done a great job. Move on. Next question. He seemed willing to entertain a scenario. So we'll see. I, for one, will be happy when it happens. Not that I'm happy that anyone would lose his job, but
for the sake of the franchise,
he's going to be fine. I think we're ready for a new voice. We got some exciting young players. So stay tuned. We'll see. Anything else we want to talk about before we get into just dive straight into these Dumb and Dumber quotes? I guess we should mention Brandon Williamson.
Yeah, I was at the game. That sucked.
Yeah, so Tim hurt Brandon Williamson.
Uh-huh.
He cursed him to oblivion. No, it's terrible, terrible news. Brandon Williamson
said really nice things about him Sunday on the show, and then he gets hurt. It's the opposite of Tyler Stevenson and Devin Booker this summer.
You've lost the magic. I was loving. I loved what I had seen from him. He fought his way to come back. Did not have to pitch again this season. Could have easily shut it down. No, he bulldogged his way through it just to. He's going to need Tommy John. He's getting Tommy John. He's out for likely all of next season, and man, you just hate it. You hate it for a guy that's, from a selfish fan standpoint, was going to factor prominently into the pitching depth for 2025, but on a more human level, just to miss almost an entire season and show up for 2 weeks and then be forced to miss all of next one is pretty tough pill to swallow. What were the vibes like when he walked off the mound in Cincinnati?
I think we all kind of, all 30 of us that were at the game that night, probably all were like, oh, that's not a good sign. Certainly kind of, obviously, you're just bummed out for the guy who worked like really hard, and when he got back, pitched really well, and made you believe that he could be a part of the team for 25 as far as being in the rotation battle that we talked about last week. And then you're in the situation you're in now. And I think Charlie Goldsmith came out and said it was a UCL tear. So yeah, that's obviously no bueno. I think, is this his first Tommy John? I think it's his first one. So the good news is that, you see these guys go through that year after Tommy John surgery, and they seem to recover pretty well. It just sucks that he's not going to be here for 25. I hope the best for him. I'm a big fan of his. I root for all left-handed pitchers in the Reds organization. Let's see you in 26, and hopefully you are a part of this big part of this team moving forward from there.
Yeah, get well soon, Brandon. That stinks. All right, Tim, let's just do this. The 2024 season has been awful in almost every way, though there were there are a few reasons to celebrate, a few reasons to continue watching. We had such high expectations. They got decimated by the injury bug, by poor play, by just an ugly on the field product almost the entire season. So let's use something purely gorgeous, something beautiful, a masterpiece of human effort, Dumb and Dumber, to talk about this 2024 season. If anybody has not seen
So
Dumb and
beautiful.
Dumber, first, shame on you. Second, watched it again recently. It holds up. So pause this episode, go watch it, and then come back to us. You'll be glad you did. All right, Sam, why don't you go first?
All right, sure. So also lover of Dumb and Dumber, owned a copy of it on DVD at one point.
We are fans of physical media at the Riverfront.
Yep. Team Physical Media for life. All right. So first one, life's a fragile thing. 1 minute you're chewing on a burger, and the next minute you're dead meat. This is all of us coming out of the 2023 season, all excited about what was coming up, just to have the year we had and just be utterly disappointed and feel like everything was taken from us. So
yeah, this was at the diner with the henchman who chews on his burger that they put hot peppers in.
By the way.
He goes down, and in 1 minute you're chewing on a burger, the next minute you're dead meat. We were into spring training pretty much up until we got the Matt McClain and Noel V. Marte news, which happened pretty quickly, pretty close together. And we thought this team was. I don't remember hype like this in a long time. It's been a good decade.
Yeah.
And even after the injuries, we were still like, hey, they got some pieces. They can put something together. They can contend. Well, no, 1 minute you're chewing on a burger, and the next you're dead meat. Let me go next here. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is, that's it. I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. I say I use that about once a week. If that tells you anything about my chaotic life. But obviously, this has got to go to the injuries and that suspension. I mean, we talked about Brandon Williamson out. He missed most of the year. It started with Matt McClain early on. Then we had CES goes down, Ashcraft down, Noel V. Marte out for that suspension. Nick Lodolo, the most injured player of all time, maybe. TJ Friedel misses a lot of time. TJ Antone gone again. Hunter goes on the IL for a while. Andrew Abbott's still on the IL. Hunter, that happened during a Cy Young caliber season. We got Jamer, the big offseason acquisition, who was bad when he did play, injured after that. Stu Fairchild, IL. Ian Jabot, IL. Emilio Pagan, Samuel, Nick Martini. Like, the list goes on and on and on. This team just could not get right. And it was from before day one. Started in spring training and never let up. Our stinking pets' heads were falling off, Tim.
Yeah, that's like the perfect summary of the 2024 Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, but I think I got the Brandon Williamson news, and that's when I had the idea for this episode, because I immediately went to that quote from the movie. All right, what's next?
All right, we have the one that everyone remembers the most, obviously, about this movie. Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? I won't do that next part. Don't worry.
I was ready to mute you.
But we're going to compare that to every David Bell press conference. And there's one that still sticks out to me more than anything from earlier this year, Nate. And it still to this day drives me insane. And I hate it. But there was a game, I think, in May when they just had that horrible May where Tyler Stevenson's in one of his nice stretches. He's kind of the best hitter on the team for the time, and doesn't get in the game. And David Bell says, mind you, they lost by like a run in this game. It wasn't like, it's like, well, if the guy before him gets on base, then he would get an at bat. And that was like my first, like, this is terrible. This is awful. And then it just kind of went downhill from there with additional press conferences. Every time it was, oh, we're so close. We're so close. Our guys feel really good. At some point, your guys don't feel really good. You're not so close. When you're sitting in the situation you're in, you're 15 out of division and you're not going to the wild card either. So, yeah. And we talked about it earlier. We feel like the seat got really hot. To bring another comedy in there, I would say this is Michael Scott stepping on the George Foreman grill. So, yeah. That's where we're at with David Bell.
Yeah, that's a good one. Every time he spoke after a game, it was the most annoying sound in the world to me. There was the one where the Reds were hot coming out of the All-Star break, and he gives Ellie the day off. He's like, well, he had a scheduled day off, but they'd had a rain out like 2 days before, and they had an off day coming up in a couple days. It's just infuriating listening to him try to gaslight us into thinking that everything's okay. So that was a good one. All right, I'm going to move around a little bit on our notes doc here. How about this one? One time we successfully mated a bulldog with a Shih Tzu. Amazing scene in the movie. I'm going to throw this out there just to get positive for a minute and talk about our guy Ellie De La Cruz, because I think we've got a mixture here. It's not a bulldog and a Shih Tzu, but we got a little Barry Larkin with a little Eric Davis. The athleticism and the raw talent of Davis with a slick glove, impressive defensive shortstop, anchoring the team, something that we love in Cincinnati.
Not a center fielder.
Not a center fielder. Get out of here with that nonsense. And just wanted to shout out Ellie, give him some love. Got his first career grand slam the other day. His 120 OPS plus on the season while leading the league and first or second in the majors and outs above average at shortstop. He is a special, special talent. If this is the best he ever is, and he just is this guy most years of his career, then we've got an incredible player, but he's barely scratched the surface. So just wanted to take a second to appreciate the LA experience in 2024.
You'll never get me to not enjoy the LA experience.
It's impossible not to. All right, what's next?
We have, hold on, my phone went, sorry, of course.
Okay.
It says, where am I? Oh, yeah. Senior citizens, although old and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose. Joseph, Daniel Votto, we miss you. And we're happy that you retired on your own terms. We wish it could have been in a major league uniform, particularly in Cincinnati. But you were the guy. And we hope if you get to drive that school bus, that you do it in the Cincinnati area.
Absolutely. Senior citizens like Joey Votto can still serve a purpose. And selfishly, that purpose is giving us something to smile about. So shouts to Joey, and hopefully the Reds do the right thing and they're able to work something out where he can come back and be recognized in a way that he truly deserves. I hope they retire his number yesterday, hang it from the rafters, and let us appreciate the guy that the Reds kind of kept us from being able to celebrate properly when they had the opportunity to. So shouts JDV. All right, let's see here. Right after the guy eats the chili burger, it starts going under. They find his what they think are his heart pills. They're shoving pills down his throat. Say pills are good. Pills are good. I'm letting that quote go out to Noelvi Marte and his doctor. Because
that's a good one.
I was certainly on this podcast in the preseason exclaiming loud and proud that Noelvi was going to win Rookie of the Year. He was so impressive when he came up last year. This high pedigree prospect, like no reason not to believe, and there's still no reason not to believe that he can be a stud in this league. But man, oh man, the guy and his crazy doctor are who knows what they're doing down there in the DR. Apparently he doesn't know. He said that he doesn't know, but him and his doctor were just taking those pills or injections or whatever it was. And we know what happened next.
Absolutely.
All right. What you got, buddy?
Ooh. You sold my dead bird to a blind kid? Will Benson.
How dare you? How dare you?
I guess we all felt like we were going to get the Will Benson we saw last year. I still feel like he has some of that in him, and I think that this could have just potentially been the sophomore slump. And junior year, he's going to be pretty good again. But I don't know if I want him playing 162 games for the Reds next year.
Yeah, this is the one of the biggest pro Will Benson podcasts going, and it was so bad. You have to wonder. We all thought last year, look at Nick Krall. Get crawled. Get crawled, everybody. Look how Nick Crawl fleeced the Guardians. Well, maybe they sold us their dead bird. Can't believe you said that, Tim. I can't believe you. Get it right, Will Benson. We still believe in you. All right. How about this one? When Harry and Lloyd get pulled over and they've been peeing in bottles, and the cop rolls up and says, "Come on, give me that booze, you little pumpkin pie haircutted freak." I thought this was too funny because A, it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yep.
But B, we had to get
Sipping
a
on
lot of
Grandpa's old
FaceTime.
cough medicine.
Cough medicine there. We had to deal with a pumpkin pie haircutted freak quite a bit this year. Mr. Hit King himself, Pete Rose. He had the documentary put out about him. We had Keith O'Brien on there who wrote that fantastic book about Pete Rose. He's on all the gambling ads because, of course, he is.
Yeah. That was such a hard sell to him, I'm sure.
I don't think I expected to have a ton of Pete Rose content in my face during the 2024 season, but we got it.
That much again, actually.
I could do with a little less, except when we do our 1975 World Series rewatch. Stay tuned for more. All right. That was actually a real audio right there. That wasn't Tim. That was pulled from the internet. That was tech wizardry.
Yeah. All right. Harry, some little filly break your heart? Nah, it was a girl. There's currently an outfielder for the Philadelphia Phillies by the name of Nicholas Castellanos, who did not get an offer from the Cincinnati Reds. And before we get any more of this, but his contract crap, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the fact that this outfield has been, what's the word? Hot garbage. Hot garbage.
The hottest.
Yeah. And Nicholas Castellanos wasn't even offered an opportunity to return to the Cincinnati Reds. So, what's the term? Make him say no in negotiations. The Reds just didn't even give him a chance to say no. And then we had to go watch Stuart Fairchild play a lot. And so here we are.
Nick Castellanos, everybody likes to talk about his shortcomings. He is good enough to start for the best team in the National League. So if it's good enough for them, why couldn't he have played for us? But there's a quote in this movie that we're discussing today that specifically says Philly, and we have Nick Castellanos in our lives. So we had to take this opportunity to remind people he's awesome. Cincinnati loved him. Even the people that talk crap about him now loved him at the time. And I wish he was still here.
Agreed.
And it wasn't a girl that broke our heart. It wasn't a little Philly. It was the Reds front office. Mm-hmm. All right. Another great scene. Hey, look, hitchhikers. Pick them up. I say pick them up. Again, weekly. Here are just a few players that got some burn for the Cincinnati Reds this season. We had Eric Yang, Levon Soto, Edwin Rios, Evan Kravitz, Casey Kelly, Brandon Leibrandt, David Buchanan, Yasverzu Lueta. And that's just a few. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
The Reds were trotting out hitchhikers left and right. Dominique Smith of the world. Guys like Ty France, who has been pretty good for the Reds. These castaways from other teams that the Reds are using to fill important roles. That was definitely a theme of this season, and it was gross.
Yeah. Actually, when you sent the notes over of some of these names, I literally had to be like, do I remember that guy? And it was this year. So.
Yeah, there's at least 3 on there that I will never believe. 6 months from now, you will have to convince me that they played for the Reds.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so we have. So is this 1 in 1,000? More like 1 in 1,000,000. So you're telling me there's a chance Hunter Green potentially truly being an ace of the staff, had an unbelievable year, had an all-star year, and obviously fell short from injury just a few weeks ago. Looks like he's been shut down for the year. And that's a bummer, but I think we do really finally know who he really is, and that is that dude.
Yeah, 100%. You can't talk about this 2024 season without talking about Hunter Green and the leap he made. And I wish maybe we can do it in the offseason, go back and look at some of the early episodes, because his first couple starts were kind of more of what we had seen in the past. 5
Mhm.
innings, not able to go deep, um, giving up the long ball. But no, he became a guy, working his way back right now, trying to get another start in before the season ends. But as it stands now, 143 innings, which is really the only blemish on this stat line, is that he just didn't get that inning count up higher. But 2.83 ERA for people that still love that. 1.019 in my favorite stat, his whip, at a 154 ERA plus, which is just simply elite. Still double-digit Ks per nine, less than 0.7 home runs per nine is an awesome stat to see from Hunter.
Yeah,
He was one of the best
absolutely.
pitchers in the game. He was a Cy Young candidate. I think he had a really, really strong case for winning the Cy Young until he went down. Probably going to lose to the guy that Blake Dunn took deep.
Let's bring his OPS up to 4.
Yeah, this team. But shouts to Hunter, man. We might have an ace. I'm pretty pumped about it. Let's see. A couple more here. How about this one? Yeah, I called her up. She gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her enough or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I think one big theme for this season was the lack of fundamentals, just the sloppy play that we saw day in and day out with no real signs of improvement, whether it was base running errors or throwing to the wrong base or, I won't say not hustling. I don't think there was too much of a hustle problem, but defensive miscues and poor situational awareness. It happened all season long, and it was so frustrating to watch. And when we talk about, not shedding a tear over David Bell being gone, this for me is the biggest reason why. Is that
Yeah.
this team just did not. I mean, they played bad baseball. So I don't know that the players weren't listening to the coaches or the coaches weren't telling them to begin with or what, but we had to find an excuse to talk about the sloppy play.
It was the most irritating thing about this season, to the point that depending what broadcast you listen to, the broadcasters were not able to hide their irritations with it either. I mean, Sadak was pretty open about it through the year. When TJ Friedel was hurt and Stuart Fairchild was making boneheaded plays in center field, there was one game where Cowboy Lily was like, "When's TJ Friedel come back?" Which is pretty shocking to see him of all people act like that. So yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. It's very frustrating. It was very difficult. It was embarrassing. I mean, to watch that night in and night out, because
Yeah.
these are major leaguers and they played like the Bad News Bears.
Yeah. And it never got better, and nobody ever seemingly faced any sort of accountability.
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't have this on the rundown, but we should mention, if we're going to talk about 2024, shout out to Sadak and the Cowboy and Tommy Thrall, Chris Welsh. Like, as bad as this was, the Reds have some fantastic guys in the booth. They also have Barry Larkin, but they do have some fantastic guys in the booth.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, not too much else to say about that. We were lucky to have those guys, and come early next spring, late next winter, I'm going to be yearning for some ball called by those fellas.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
with you.
Tim, we got another one here. I think you're up.
Yeah. Boy, this party really died. Yet again, another losing season, no postseason appearance, another bunch of glaring holes on a baseball team. So we are still once again looking at the same story of a Reds team with a losing record who had their opportunities to put a better team together and did not.
Yeah, and on top of that, so in this scene, they're at the benefit for the Owls or whatever, the Hooters, and things are on the up and up for Harry and Lloyd. Things are looking good, and then they pop a cork, Al goes down, and the party dies. And it seemed like the Reds just not being able to get over that 500 hump. They got within a game of 500 so many times, it seems like, but just couldn't take that next leap. And yeah, fast forward, here we are, another moribund season. Awesome. All right, we had a couple of viewer mail questions, Tim, that People also gave us their suggestions. We got one here from Joey Gaditza. Joey says, "What the hell are we doing here, Harry? We got to get out of this town." Yeah, and go where? Where are we going to go? Who does that sound like? Did Phil Castellini get a writing credit on Dumb and Dumber?
I don't think he did. He probably should have, though.
Yeah, he says some pretty hilarious things, but they're hilarious in how terrible they are. Yeah, Joey, that feels like something Phil would say, and it hurts my soul a little bit. All right, you want to read this one from Woo the Reds?
Oh, this is good. Hey, guys. Oh, big payroll, huh? All right, well, see you later.
See you later. Big gulps, huh? Yeah, that's the Reds.
That's like probably my one I use all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the Reds looking at all the other teams in the league. Like, oh, big payroll, huh? Okay, well, not us. See you later. Stupid. All right, that was fun. Any other ones that you can think of you want to get off your chest? I think we did a pretty good job of covering it. Please, by all means, let us know on Twitter. Let us know in the YouTube comments or email us at team@riverfrontcincy with the quotes you think we should have used. We'll tweet them out. We'll run them on the next episode or something. But this was a lot of fun. I love doing these episodes because it gives me an excuse to revisit some of these classics.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I said, yeah, I know. I was going to try to figure out what the next one we would do because we did Wayne's World right before the season started. And that would end up being pretty solid. So
I might need to go like a deeper cut, like Euro Trip or something.
Yeah, because you enjoyed it, Anchorman.
I could do Anchorman twice a year.
I wouldn't even need to watch the movie, and I'd be like, all right, cool, we got this. So
yeah, easily. Billy Madison's another one of my favorites. There you go. We should do that. Send us team@riverfrontcincy.com if you have some movie recommendations that you want to see us do some recap quote stories. We're happy to take those suggestions. Tim, we do have one actual viewer mail question from Rich Thompson. As always, these questions come from our family and friends over at patreon.com/riverfrontcincy. We'd love to have you join the team. Rich Thompson is the man, and he says, "I'm starting to feel that I'm going down the path of becoming an apathetic or lost Reds fan. My main and disturbing symptom is that when I have some free time to watch a Reds game, I am now choosing to either take my dog for a walk, go for a 30 to 50-mile bike ride, watch some reruns of Star Trek, or spend more time with my beautiful, smart, and athletic girlfriend. Is there a cure for what ails me, or am I destined to be a more well-rounded and fitter person?" Rich, it sounds like you're crushing it, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say, was this supposed to be sad? Where's the sad part?
Listen, we're all here sad about the Reds, and Rich is just flexing on us in the comments.
I know. Well, here's the thing. So you and I talked about this off camera all the time because for some reason of all the Reds networks, we're known as like the super negative one. Like people would say stuff to us all the time, like, you guys need to enjoy your lives more. Like, we have pretty awesome lives. This is just this one thing, this one little thing that just drives us crazy every year. So
it's true. I have one of the best lives of anybody. Imagine how great my life would be if the Reds were all so good. Maybe it's God's way of keeping us humble.
Yeah, it might be.
It's like, I've given you so much, I must take a little.
Yeah. But Rich, there's nothing wrong at this point with being an apathetic Reds fan because they don't care how you feel. It's just being realistic here, man. Yes, I would love nothing more to be sitting here talking about a team that's going to the postseason every year. 2012 was really fun. I've yearned for that feeling for so long that I've just accepted. I don't know if we'll see it again, and just got to roll with it.
There was a lot of talk on the Twitter webs. Lance McAllister posted something about how I think the Reds had made the playoffs 6 times in a decade and only 6 times since. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But a lot of people coming to the realization that we have talked about a lot on here. No, I didn't save it, which is just the lack of success that this franchise has had. And there are people. So I am 39 years old.
Yeah, I'm
think
35.
about that for a minute. And so I was 5 years old when 1990 happened. I don't remember any of it. I was 10 during the 95 season. Don't really remember much about that. So people that are 40 years old really have zero recollection of a successful run of Reds teams. There are periods of 10 and then I think 14 years with no playoff appearances at all.
Yeah.
In that span, which is just crazy. And people wonder why we get apathetic, as Rich said, or just downright annoyed. It's because we spend a significant portion of our lives and our time and money, and we are bringing humans into this world. People listening to this, if you have kids, they're going to be Reds fans unless you're a good parent, and they're not. It's brutal. We commit so much to this team that doesn't love us back. It's like being in an abusive relationship.
No, baby, I can change. It's me. It's not you. I got this.
The crazy ones are always more fun. All right, Tim, what else you got before we call it? So, yeah, we're going to do a quick one this week. It's a depressing episode when the Reds are officially eliminated for playoff contention.
I guess we're going to keep the depressing going on Sunday night on Late Night Reds. If they want to sweep the Pirates, that's fine by me. But at this point, it's seeing if Elliott can somehow pull off, just get into the 30-30 line. I don't think he will, just because it's a few more homers he needs. But it's the thing to watch at this point.
Not impossible. Hey, speaking of Elliott, did you see? Sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. That he and Alexis Diaz were honored as the.
Yeah.
This is 23. They were honored as the 2023, Latino Rookie of the Year and Latino reliever / closer of the year. I saw this and I was like, man, they must have been really short at the reliever position if Alexis Diaz got reliever of the year. But no, they just got their awards for last year, apparently. So never mind. Good talk. Congrats to those guys. Proud of y'all.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Get better in the offseason, Reds.
Please.
All right. So please, guys, we got a lot of fun things going on at the Riverfront. Go check out our other shows. Tim is doing like 3 a day, always available. It's impossible to get too much Tim Daniel in your life. So
I don't know. Some of our listeners might feel otherwise. They might be like sick of me. So
email me at team@riverfrontcincy.com. Don't tweet. Don't put in the comments for sensitive folks here. All right. Thank you, Tim, for joining. I really appreciate you doing this again, buddy. My favorite shows are always with you. Well, hopefully we can get some of the other crew on here soon, give you a little bit of a breather. Shout out Bill Lack. He wants to come on and do a top 5 Reds games ever attended episode. We're going to try to make that happen.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Which would be a lot of fun. So hopefully maybe as early as next week. We'll tweet out once we know. And thank you, everyone, for listening and supporting the Riverfront. Tell your friends, have them tell their friends, have them text all their group chats that they should go follow the Riverfront and like us on YouTube and all those places. We are on all those places. We're at Riverfront Cincy. And once again, a huge, huge shout out to our supporters at patreon.com/Riverfront Cincy, without whose support this simply would not be possible. Shout out to Adam Dunn. Shout out to Lisa Alberto, to Wayne Krenchicki, to Eli Cash, for Tim Daniel, and for Jasper Zulueta. This is Nate Dotson saying so long.
You made that up.
Cincinnati.